Oliver Ragsdale Jr. He's the president and CEO for the Carr Center, an organization that was founded back in 1991. Their goal is to inspire, entertain, challenge, and educate in all things that you do when it comes to the arts. I will admit that I'm excited to have you on the show because before today, I had not actually heard about you and the incredible work that you are all doing over at the Carr Center. For those not familiar with your organization, fill us in.
Hi, good morning, and thank you for having me on your show this morning. The Arts League of Michigan may be another name that you know the organization by. That was the name, and that's the official name of the nonprofit founded in 1991 to promote, present, preserve, and develop the African and African American cultural arts traditions within our multicultural community. For the last almost 30 years, we have been in the business of educating young people and providing training in the visual arts, in jazz, in dance. We have been producing art exhibitions, some that have not only enlightened walls in Detroit, but have been showcased in venues around the world. And we present both Detroit artists of renown and internationally renowned artists who come into Detroit and who we are also now live streaming.
This is so great to hear, especially more so now when so many schools over the past decade or so have been starting to cut out arts from the school programming due to funding. And arts is so important for a child and for their development. So, how do parents help foster this curiosity and this need and inspiration in their child if they even think for a minute that they have any type of interest in the arts?
Well, I think that there's a number of ways as a musician and a person who has been a musician for almost 60 years. I think that it starts with seeing what they may be doing, tinkling, touching a piano if there's one around, or playing cans, playing rhythms on cans, various things like that, singing, dancing, and moving around are all early indications of potentially a child's interest. The other way that you can do it is just by creating opportunities to expose them, taking a young person to a children's museum or to an art gallery or to a concert. All of those types of things move to pique someone's interest. Eventually, once that interest has been identified, while there are programs in their schools, there are still programs in the schools. There are a lot of organizations in our community who are doing dance classes, who are doing music lessons, who are teaching art classes and things of that sort, where a child can get involved, or an adult, frankly, could get involved and continue to develop.
If I'm a parent and I think for a second my child is going to be the next Van Gogh or the next greatest, jazz musician, how do I take them from that first interest to get them disciplined to try to continue down that path? Or do you just let it grow organically?
Uh, both happen. Within the African American community specifically, I could tell you that God has gifted young musicians with incredible ears, and the ability to play by ear is a natural given talent, and some people begin to learn that way. Others of us, I'm not one of those. So others of us have diligent parents who got us involved in music lessons early, and I started with violin, I think, and then piano. Finally, ended up on the drums, which is where I landed and stayed. The other two were always terrible in my life, but began to nurture in that way. I was fortunate enough to grow up in a public school system that had wonderful music programs. I didn't grow up in Detroit, but the same kind of wonderful music programs and art programs that the Detroit public schools or what you see in Southfield and other districts around the Detroit area, and you grow from that.
How can parents get their kids involved with some of the programs there at the Carr Center? If they and do your kids have to like pass a test per se?
Well, it depends on what program we have. We do a summer dance intensive with Debbie Allen, the great Debbie Allen, where she has brought tremendous teachers into Detroit. In this past summer, we did it virtually. Those young people come in and they audition. They start at 8 years old and have gone up to 21 or 22 years old, and so you have a wide range of skill levels that are in that particular program, and that's an audition. The other education program that we're heavily involved in now is something that we call the Saturday Academy, and we do it in partnership with the College of Creative Studies and Mosaic Youth Theater of Detroit. Where we offer visual arts programs, we offer dance, instrumental music. Carr Center does the dance and the instrumental music. CCS, College of Creative Studies, does visual arts, and Mosaic does vocal music and theater. That program is targeted to middle school students, so 6th to 8th graders, and it happens on Saturdays. It's happening virtually now, so you can reach out to the Carr Center at the Carr Center, that's CARR center.org, and you'll see information around the Saturday Academy, and you can click in and enroll that way. It's a free program supported by the Skillman Foundation.
And Oliver, you mentioned things are virtual right now. So much about the arts is about feeding off of the energy and the atmosphere of people around you and working with other people and bringing your energy together. How is all of this working virtually? And has it been a challenge, or is it been somewhat of a benefit for other people as well?
Well, I think for the Carr Center specifically, it has been a challenge that we took on and have been relatively successful with it so far, and we're continuing to grow in it. We are doing virtual concerts. We just created, in partnership with the Taubman College of Architectural and Urban Planning at the University of Michigan, we just created a virtual Carr Center that has 4 gallery spaces in it, a theater, a cafe where people can come and hang out, all done digitally, so you can go and see an art exhibition there. I think that clearly things are changing and things will be different post the pandemic. We at the Carr Center made a decision in March not to talk and think about the new normal, but all we wanted to think about was the new. And we accelerated our thinking around the new to deal with the digital. Clearly, what you see with Netflix or Disney Plus or HMO Max, that's going to have that kind of activity is going to have an impact. So I think the arts are challenged with the opportunity that represents, and the need to come up with high quality programming that can engage and excite audiences.
Oliver Ragsdale Jr. with us. He's the president and the CEO of the Carr Center, joining us on the Oakland County MegaCast. And we've talked already a little bit. We've touched on virtual programming and creating a normal instead of creating the new normal, just expanding what is normal. The Carr Virtual Center is also currently underway, according to my notes, as interactive virtual art experiences, a performative studio, and a cafe where folks can gather and chat before or after their visit. Can you give us a little more details about what people can experience in a virtual version of the Carr Center without having to go out and maintain social distance?
Well, you can go to the virtual Carr Center. It's called carvirtualcenter.org, carvirtualcenter.org. And you can go there. You can tour two galleries that have an exhibition called Rock My Soul, an exhibition that we created in partnership with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum several years ago. And the artwork from that exhibition is there. It's been reimagined, and you can go through and look at the pieces, find out about the artist, find out about the pieces. And there are both traditional ways that you would see the art on a wall, but there's also AI, virtual reality way that you can see some of the pieces. There's timelines of history in another gallery. There's timelines of history and significant events in the evolution of the Black influence on rock and roll. Or you can go to the theater, the performance studio, and see a concert that's there. And if you go with someone, together, you can meet in the cafe. You can see each other in a form almost like a Zoom call, and you can have a conversation with that person. We can host up to 500 people in that particular space, and we could all watch a concert together, or you can attend a lecture in that space. We look forward to using the space to have field trips and people being able to go to a concert, a series of concerts, things of that sort.
Oliver, that's so creative, and while so many entities have gone virtual, this seems to even be kind of taking it to a new and different level as well. How did you all come up with this?
Well, we initially were thinking about the idea of a virtual gallery and what that could be. And as we continued to work with the team at Taubman, we moved from, initially it was in our mind with two projects, a gallery project and eventually a virtual overall Carr Center. And we anticipated that it was going to be a long process, but the two projects ended up in essence merging. We launched it September the 25th. And now we invite people to go and check it out. There's nothing quite like it.
Just another minute or two here with you on the Oakland County MegaCast. I love the history that you're talking about as well. And if someone wants to learn more or get involved, how can they do that? And when do you anticipate that maybe you'll start to be able to start having more events in person?
Well, our gallery currently is open. The Carr Center Contemporary Gallery Space, which is located in the Park Shelton at East Kirby and Woodward, is open Wednesday through Saturdays. We have an exhibition there called So Carr, So Cool, which talks about the development of the virtual space and highlights the designers that were involved in that particular process. That's open now. Our performance studio is currently under renovation. We moved into the space at the end of last year, and it's a historic space, so people will eventually people will be able to come into that space probably at the same time things begin to open up. In the meantime, you can go to our website, thecarrcenter.org, CARR center.org, and the wide range of programs that we are involved in are there. You'll see announcements in the next few days about upcoming virtual concerts. We have a dance convening for 3 weeks in November. African dance has lectures, it has performances, and it has dance classes on Wednesday, Fridays, and Saturdays for 3 weeks in November. And we'll be launching a film screening film series later this year to follow up in the one that we had this summer, five weeks of film screenings this summer.
So you all have been busy. Oliver Ragsdale Jr. with us. He's the president and CEO for the Carr Center. Oliver, I'll meet you in the virtual lounge, and we'll meet for coffee before one of the performances.
So much for having me, and best of luck. Everybody stay healthy.